Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. I have made already one video about illness. And as promised, I have now one more video, and there will be a couple more to come because this is quite a big topic. And this comes for many people very, very shocking, at least when I read about that or heard about that first time, even though it's long, long time ago. I had not such an easy way to accept that. But this is really important that we look at that, because this is the only way that we can be healed, really healed, and we can move forward on our journey without any problems. So I talk today about illness and symptoms. And when we look at modern medicine, you can see that modern medicine is generally all about fighting and avoiding. And the medicine is looking only on the chemical part of the physical body, what is wrong. So it produces some evidence of an illness with some chemical analytes. But the meaning somehow of the illness get lost, because when we look only on the physical body, this is not gonna work, because illness never ever starts on the physical body, even if they are bacteria or other things that influence the body. We need to have an affinity for a certain illness to get it. And especially when we have illness that is for many, many, many people, you can see that this has something to do with the consciousness of the masses. So we go step by step forward here. So without meaning, an illness seems to be absolutely senseless. In a way, also our life becomes senseless. So why do we get sick? Why some people get sick and some others don't? So we need a kind of interpretation, a reference for an interpretation. Like, for example, if you look at a thermometer, you have this column with the mercury inside. If you have only this column and mercury go up and down, and you have no reference for it, it doesn't make any sense, right? And this is exactly the same with illness. If you just get sick and it is like, you don't know why. Why the heck am I getting sick? Why me? This big why me that's coming up. So we have to learn, first of all, in the past, when we talked about illness, it had a different meaning because we used still words that we understood. It is very common here, for example, if somebody has a headache, that people tell you don't think so much or ask you, what did you eat? So it was still a common knowledge that when we get a headache, that it has something to do, for example, what we take in, and also about thinking too much, that it's not just an physical level, but only another level involved that will help us to understand what it is about. So we have the very simple things going on, for example, like you eat something that triggers a headache or something that has not so much of a meaning, but think again, why do you eat things that create pain in your body? And this is a psychological problem of humanity that goes far back to about that we still have to suffer. And that need, in a way, to suffer, also the need, when you look at the religious part of it, the need to suffer to get enlightenment. This is not the truth. We don't need to suffer to get enlightenment. We are here as a human being to have an experience. And we have chosen that curriculum for our body here as an ego. My physical body is the vessel that carries me as a spiritual being through this life. And I have chosen a certain journey because that's what I perceive, even in a higher realm still, as that what I need to experience. Also, maybe part of past lives, what I have missed there. You know, the word mistake, you might remember, some who follow me, mistake is I missed to take something. And this is also so ridiculous if you say you have a mistake. You cannot have a mistake because you already say it in the word, you missed to take it. So this is an experience that is missing. Now, again, illness represents things that we either miss or that we have too much, that we are not aligned with our life purpose. And it is very interesting when we look, and this comes from astrology, when you look at the planet Mercury, which actually is representing the human being, how it functions. And I want to share my screen quickly, and I give you a picture of Mercury. Now, remember, we talked about that in astrology. That is how a human being functions. And this is why Mercury is actually representing the persona, the personality, the ego, and not the sun. Because the sun represents the consciousness, the moon represents the feeling, the cross is materialization. So that's how a human being functions. We receive input. And here as the moon, which represents also the soul, we have the first input that we have comes from our soul, from our spiritual being, or from that part of us that is not incarnated. Because feelings, emotions, we cannot see. We can see the effect of it, but not the emotion itself. So, for example, an emotion, to give you a picture, if I'm very angry, I maybe get a completely red head because the blood is shooting to my head because of my anger, and I shout. So you can see the effect that emotion has on my body, but the emotion itself, you cannot see, you might hear it, and I shout or whatever, you know. So everything what is coming into our life has to be processed, and we have an affinity to certain things according to our soul purpose. So, for example, there are people, they like sports, and some people, they are more lazy, and some people want to be in nature, and some people they are much more safe when they are at home in their little four walls to close them in. And this has also something to do with your life purpose, what you have chosen to experience. And again, there is no good and bad, it just is. You have chosen a certain life experience, and that's it. And in this lifetime, you go according to your curriculum. And every time you go away from your curriculum, this is like there is a tension. Now, here we have the input. So life outside, life inside, that is intuition, inspiration, and everything what you encounter in life outside of you. And maybe it's good to remember here again that we actually live in kind of a simulation. So our energy attracts certain circumstances in our life because that's what we need to experience. So that comes in, and then the next year is the circle. Now, this is our consciousness. This is where we process it. Now, an impression comes. It is maybe dark or it is light, and it triggers something within us. And this is what we process. And then according to what happened, the process that is happening within us, we materialize it. Now, see, the materializing is a tricky thing. Now, if you have a topic that's coming into your life that you avoid, that you want to run away, and that you don't want to look at, it still is here. So where is it going? You see the cross at the bottom. It will materialize in one or another way. So the first step is the input. Something comes into our life to be processed. Now we have, during the processing, we have a choice either to face it, to look at it, to do what it asks us to do, or we can avoid it and we can run away, but it's still here. Even like it's like the shadow. When I turn my back, the shadow is still there. So this has something to do, we can also say, with the shadow for easy understanding. And even the shadow and everything materializes within here across the physical body. That is the last extension of spiritual energy within us, is the physical body. So every illness, every symptom, what we talk about has something to do with an input that has come into your life during the process of looking at it and processing it and do something with it. You have turned away and you have left it as an unfinished business, and then it falls into the physical body. And that is actually really illness, and how illness is working. So when you look at that, the body is the last part of the expression of who we are, what we are doing, what we, the input that comes, what we are supposed to experience. It generally represents things that we either don't face at all or that we overreact. So the body itself presents everything what we have not processed, and it gives us the experience to have this in the body materialized. It is more or less the expression of the harmony between body and soul, between the pure life purpose and the alignment with our soul, with our spiritual purpose, or the misalignment. So the more we can say we are healthy, the more we are aligned to our soul purpose. The more we are ill, the less we are aligned with our life purpose. So we can say illness means the abandonment of harmony and the abandonment of balance, but it never, ever starts in the body. It always comes from a higher level. And when we look again at physical allopathic medicine, it is all about running away, fighting, and avoiding. So this is already one thing that you can understand right now, that allopathic chemical medicine can never really heal you. It can push symptoms around, but remember, the topic is now gone. So if the topic is, for example, that you will have like you are supposed to make sports and you are supposed to move, but you eat food that makes you so tired that you cannot do sport anymore, that you become very lazy. Because we talked about that many times too, that the food that we eat today is not really healthy anymore, with all this stuff inside, you know, just MSG, monosodium glutamate, and whatever is all in there. So the one thing is maybe to think about it, to start to eat better food for your body, to be more aligned with the health of the body, and to be conscious about what you eat. Most people are not conscious. They just buy, and it's difficult today. I know I read labels and you know how people look at you when you start to read labels, right? So, but do it. It's worth it, definitely. Okay, so the body is the last stage of the expression of our life purpose, of our soul journey. So again, consider we are players on that stage of what we call the world, and we came here to play a certain role, and we chose that role before we came. We had a purpose to come here, and we have a life curriculum. Now, okay, so we can say illness is a fail-safe. Now, when you are not following the curriculum of your life and you fall ill, that illness does want to correct your journey. Now, for example, if you're absolutely overactive and do too much and you're too much in your head running around all the time, again, you might have a headache that would force you to lay down, maybe to drink a lot of water, liquid emotion, you know, water is connected with the feeling, to feel instead of just to think. And you would be automatically healed if you are acting in the right way, because you then balance out that imbalance of being too active with going into the opposite pole of being passive. But again, now what do we do today? Oh, you have so many things to do. You have absolutely no time to lay down and drink water, right? So what you do, you take a chemical pill that suppresses the pain. The pain is not gone, really. It is just suppressed through some chemical reaction in your body. So the problem is not resolved. So it has to come more and more and more and stronger till maybe one day you hit your head somewhere and you end up in the hospital or something like that, that you're really forced to lay down and be quiet. But we are not there yet with the symptoms. So just let's go forward here. I have some notes beside that I don't jump too much. You know, that's my big problem, jumping forth and back. My Uranus is just too fast sometimes for me to catch up. So again, not the body is ill, you are ill, you as a person, and you as a spiritual being having a human experience. Allow the body to show, to convey messages with symptoms that show you that you are not aligned with your life purpose anymore. So the organ where it shows up has something to do with that missing part, and it shows you actually what you try to avoid. So we have the lung, for example, that is connected with communication, you know, the eyes you see, so you can take off your glasses and look what you see without. And, you know, the stomach has something to do with how you digest life, the colon and how you let go, and the joints is about how flexible you are, and so on and so on. So when we have symptoms, the first step would be to sit down and look at what is my soul try to tell me. There are many different symptoms, but there is only one illness. So either you're healthy or you're sick. And I would say probably today, 99% humans are sick. They have symptoms. So they are not in a total harmony with their life journey. And again, don't feel bad about it, because remember, we have come here, and especially in this time right now, to shift the paradigm, to help the ascension of the planet. And we are also not just having sometimes illness that are in our soul journey, but often I see people also taking over for others, because illness is something that really forces you to pay attention. You cannot run away anymore when certain things are happening in the field of illness, especially when it goes to lethal illness, to things like cancer, rheumatism, and so on. Then you cannot run away. Either you take your pills or you take your medication every day, you're reminded that something is not right. And again, when you look at the whole planet, at the whole world is sick. And when we compare, for example, with cancer, we could say that now we are in the last stages of cancer, what is happening in the world. But again, you can heal cancer. Cancer is just, again, some expression of disharmony that has gone very, very far ahead already. And even when you're very close to death as a human being, or even move on the other side already, it's still a chance to come back. And you know that those who have heard about Anita Morjani is one of those samples who were dead and came back and totally changed her life. And there are many that have that. They say near-death experience, what actually is not right. It was a death experience. They were dead and they came back. So that is a moment when they talk to their higher self, to angels, to what they call God, or whatever words they use, it doesn't matter. And every one of those have completely changed their life. And I know a few of them, and it is awesome when you hear their experience, and especially if you knew somebody before and after. This is absolutely incredible. You don't recognize them anymore. Very simple. So the symptoms that we have are all an expressions of the same, an imbalance and a disharmony between our connection to the spirit, the soul, and the person as an ego, a personality. Persona is Latin costume. So this is the costume of our soul. Is a separate entity that we live in, right? So we have to understand that when we are in a physical body, we have certain limitations because we are in a 3D material world. Well, this is coming to shift everything, but it's still, once you understand that, you can handle illness in a complete different way. And there is actually no distinction between a psychosomatic or somatic illness, because no illness ever starts in the body. We can say, in fact, every illness is psychosomatic in a way. And there is also some illness that is only in the emotional, mental body, not have fallen yet in the physical body completely. But even emotional and mental illness, as you know, has quite a big effect on the physical body. And if treated with psychopharmacons, things like that, it gives very severe negative reactions to the body, because again, chemicals cannot cure not the physical body, not the emotional body, not the mental body. It's impossible. I don't say don't ever take any physical medication. Sometimes we need it. I mean, if somebody lays there bleeding, I use first the disinfectant or whatever I need to the first rescue, and not talk about spiritual symptoms or whatever. That is a step that comes way afterwards. So we can still take some medication, but be aware of what we are doing. And at the same time, especially for people who already have like a more severe symptom that goes into a lethal direction, that we start to change something on the higher level. We listen better to the input. We look at the body, listen to the body, what the body wants to tell us. Like, I need more rest, I need more water, I need other food. Start to look at things like that and start to change your habits. And I guarantee you, even those who are already sick, you can heal yourself. I mean, to a certain degree, maybe not 100% yet, because again, we are part of this earth that is very sick. This whole situation that we have that is very sick, and we carry part of it. But at the end, when we move into higher density, a different direction, that our body is being updated into a higher frequency, that will be all gone. but illness will not threaten you, will not become lethal. You will be able to go to a situation where it is bearable, depending on your life journey and what you have done. So we need absolutely to move away from the body perspective that something is wrong. The symptoms request attention, and they show the disturbance in the energy flow. The interruption of the daily routine shows exactly what we should do or what we should not do anymore. Again, for example, if you eat food that you're after food, you're always completely tired. It shows you that you're eating the wrong food. See, it is very difficult in this time to even talk about that because people are so brainwashed and so fixated that they can heal or can do something, even with supplements or whatever. I also take supplements because I'm very aware that the food that I have is not sufficient for my body. So I take certain supplements, but I'm very careful. For example, the vitamin B complex is not going to give you anything. You have to be more specific which vitamin you need, or some vitamins or minerals you cannot combine because they cancel each other. And the naturopath told me what I didn't know, for example, that vitamin B6 and vitamin B12 cancel each other out if in the same remedy. And if you go and look at all this combined B complex, they all have 6 and 12 inside. So I have actually found a place, my brother sends it over for me from Switzerland, that I have vitamin B6 alone. And this works for me. But you know, this is not an indication you have to do the same. I just want to say, be careful and look at it, do some research on it, because you cannot heal with physical remedies. You can only heal when you really align yourself again on your spiritual journey, that things are becoming harmonious again. Again, like, you know, it's easy to compare like this. Let me get that. When this is your journey, it's not straight like that. And here you are born, and here in the beginning, you know, we go a little bit forth and back. We go forth and back on that journey, and maybe, but at one point you start to go further away, further away, further away. So the more away you are from your journey, the more ill, sick you become. The more you're harmonized again with your, aligned again with your journey, the more you are healthy. And again, I have not experienced or met any person who is 100% healthy. So don't worry about it if the little things are still there. Just look at the air we breathe, the water we drink. We've done some analysis with water, with the electrolytes. It's just insane. Some of the water turns pitch black, and these are mineral waters that have a very famous name that I would never touch. So maybe that's also something you can do. You can buy this little gadget to do for electrolytes to check your water. So at least you have good water. And what I have realized is also that we don't really need mineral water. We need clean water. The minerals and everything around it, we should get with our food, but not really with the water. So I have a little, you know, just a pot to make distilled water. And I make distilled water, put it in a glass jar. And in the glass jar, I have crystals. I have clear quartz, amethyst, and rose quartz. And sometimes I put in a green stone. The green stone is for the stomach. I don't remember which one I have in there yet, but I think any green energy would do, or test it out for yourself. Go with your feeling. So every morning I drink sober. I drink 1 big glass of absolutely clear, pure water. And then I have my own well. Then I have my water that I ozonize with a little ozone gadget. and that's normal. So this is okay. This has a little bit of clay because it's the area here it has a lot of clay. But in the morning, the first part in the morning, also from the body clock, actually, you're eliminating till 12 noon. We have 3 phases, like 12 noon to 8 o'clock in the evening is intake. 8 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning is digestion. And then comes the let go, the elimination process. So already to have the notion that we should have a big breakfast early morning is not right. We should have our big meal at noon. But then again, most people eat the big meal in the evening, which is already very heavy. So find your own journey. But I have, since I'm more aware, I realize I cannot eat big breakfast anymore. I was forced as a child, more or less, you have to go to school, you have to big breakfast. And of course, then we followed. But now that I live for myself and have no obligations for other people, I really make in the morning just like a milk kefir shake for me, and that's absolutely perfect. So find the way how you want and how you feel good about you. Okay, so let me see what we have here. So the academic approach to illness reduces illness to become meaningless and to become like you just happen to become sick, and it doesn't make any sense. So we have to step away from that. So it is a signal of our soul that we are not aligned with our physical, with our soul purpose anymore. And as I showed in the beginning, that Mercury picture, that something has materialized in the physical body because of the input from the soul that we not follow. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, that is a sample about the deep freezer. That's a very good one. Remember, when you have a deep freezer, you have certain lights, a green, usually orange, and the red one. And if the red light starts to blink, means there is something kaput in the freezer, right? That is something that is not working. So, or the same is with the car. When you have the red light blinking, you have 2 choices. You can do is that, okay, I don't want this red light to blink, just take it out. So when the mechanic comes or whatever, you tell him, just take out this red light. But then at one point, if you keep on going with a car like this, it will blow up, right? And the freezer is not cold anymore. And once you open it, everything is kaput inside. And that's exactly the same with our physical body. So if you just take a painkiller or an allopathic medicine that makes the pain go away, that's what you're doing. You're taking out that red light that want to tell you that something is not right. Now, if you have a car mechanic and that red light is on, he has to look into the motor, what is wrong with that motor, fix it, and then the red light will be gone. The same is with us. The moment this red light, that is pain usually, flickers, comes up, it shows us that we have to do something with our body and not just take off the red light. And when I say something with the body, we have to react to the pain. Like, for example, if you have a heavy headache that you need to lay down and drink a lot of water to get it out, this will flush also out the acidity in the stomach that might cause the headache or whatever it is. But it is connected with the stomach, and it's connected with digestion of your life. Or, for example, what I have here sometimes, the pain from working too much on the computer or so. It's also, I cannot sit hours and hours on the computer. It's not good for my body. So the body shows it. Okay, so for now, I think that's enough, and I will go on with the next topic that will come like more the inflammation. What is inflammation? What does it tell you, and why does the body create an inflammation? Okay, so stay tuned, and as soon as I can, I will make another video about that. So for now, that's it. I hope to see you again. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a good day. Bye-bye.